My god, 20th Century Fox has been pretty busy this weekend. Let's start with the first lot of news, as there's multiple news stories here, but we're going to kind of put them all together as they're all related to Fox having all these new release dates. It's been a pretty fun weekend if you're a fan of either of these properties, but if you're not, I hope they give you some kind of enjoyment when they do release. No promises, but I hope they do. First story is Avatar related. We finally have release dates, well for now, at least firm release dates for the 4 Avatar sequels that are coming. Been long delayed. I mean, the Avatar sequels have been delayed. They were originally meant to start coming out in 2015. They were originally meant to only be, 2 sequels, and now we've bumped up to 4. Last we knew, Avatar 2 was meant to be released in December of 2018. That's no longer happening, and Aquaman took that spot. But now we know for sure the Avatar sequels are coming thanks to a statement released on the official Avatar Facebook page, which I'll read to you now. Great to be working with the best team in the business. Avatar takes flight as we begin concurrent production on 4 sequels. The journey continues December 18, 2020, December 17, 2021, December 20, 2024, and December 19, 2025. Now, do remember that they are doing concurrent production on 4 sequels. They're filming these all concurrently. The next year to 2 years of everyone on that production team's lives is going to be spent in the Avatar world filming these 4 sequels that we're going to get. Glad to finally get some confirmation that we are finally going to get Avatar 2, and even though now people have their sort of worries about bringing Avatar back so late, I mean the original film was released in 2009. We aren't returning to that world until 2020. That's, good 11-year gap between films. Everyone's a little bit worried at the moment whether people are really going to be invested enough to return to the world of Avatar, but all I say is, have faith in James Cameron, because although not everyone is a fan of the original Avatar, I mean, you've heard the million, Dances with Wolves comparisons, but I mean, hey, look, as much as I love Star Wars is not the most original concept on the planet. I mean, its primary basis is The Hidden Fortress, an Akira Kurosawa film. So look, artists steal from each other all the time to inspire. That's just how it's always been. And look, James Cameron did something which a lot of other people had been struggling with for a long time, and he got people back to the cinemas. I mean, Avatar is the all-time highest grossing film at the box office. We all know his goal was to bring people back into the theaters and back into the seats of cinemas and enjoy an experience that you couldn't get really anywhere else. I mean, we've now sort of caught up. The big thing was watching Avatar in 3D and what James Cameron was pushing with 3D technology. And now we've obviously caught up with TVs. We've got bigger TVs now. They all have 3D, but we're now into 4K TVs and beyond. So technology has changed. Just imagine how much James Cameron has been developing film technology since the original Avatar, because that's all he's been doing. He's been doing work with filming underwater, getting underwater physics correct, because from what we know, Avatar 2 at least is going to spend a fair amount of time in the oceans of Pandora. So a lot of time is going to be spent underwater, and as a lot of people in visual effects know, one of the most difficult things to kind of replicate is the flow of water and getting the look and feel of water correct, because water has a mind of its own. It kind of acts on its own accord. So trying to create realistic water in CGI is a really difficult task, but I have faith that James Cameron again is going to push those boundaries. He's going to give us new technology to work with. So for people in the film business, just seeing what James Cameron is going to do with these Avatar sequels is exciting. I mean, we might feel a bit of Avatar fatigue by the end of these releases. I mean, this is from 2020 to 2025, so at least 6 years of Avatar films. We get a bit of a gap between Avatar 3 and 4. So at least that's a little bit of breathing space and gives them a bit of time to really relax a little bit and kind of just spend a bit more time on Avatar 4 and 5, so they don't get burnt out trying to release 4 films concurrently over 4 years, because that would just be nuts and insane. It's difficult enough that they're actually going to film these all concurrently. I mean, we just had news that Avengers 3 and 4 or it will not be filmed concurrently and will be filmed one after the other. In the past, like the Matrix sequels, they'll film concurrently, so the fact that they're going to film these 4 sequels concurrently is just mind-boggling. And I really don't envy those producers at the moment, because trying to keep track of where all the scenes and what they're going to film, I mean, I'm sure they've got it all planned out, but that would be a nightmare to plan. But I have faith in James Cameron, and obviously the news to really take away from this is that this is going to be completely avoiding any Star Wars films that we know of for now, because Star Wars Episode 9 will have released in 2019. I think they're still gunning for a May 2019 release date. If it does get pushed to December, we'll see, but end of the day, it has no effect on Avatar. But we do know there are some Star Wars anthology films being planned for those years, so we'll see when they end up coming out. As recent years, December has really been the home of Star Wars, so we'll see if that trend ends up continuing. It still looks like the Han Solo film is coming out in May, so we may be having anthology films being released in May, while when we get the Skywalker saga films, they may end up being in December. But after Episode 9, I imagine there's going to be a bit of a break between saga films, and we'll just be getting anthology films for a while. So it's a prime spot for James Cameron and the Avatar franchise to flourish. Avatar will probably own the December month for those years. You know, Avatar 2 really will have to come back in a big way to really impress people like the first Avatar did. It's obviously not going to make as much money as the original, but it's still going to make money. This is the highest grossing film in cinema history. You've got to imagine that a fair amount of people who saw that original film are going to want to see what happens next, because Avatar was so big in 2009. It was a massive film. I mean, more or less everyone saw that film, so you got to imagine that some people are going to come back to see it. So I know people are worried about Avatar's pop culture relevance today, but I say have faith in James Cameron. James Cameron is going to do something that is going to blow everyone's minds again. If it's just for the technology's sake, then hey, you know, someone needs to do it. It might as well be James Cameron, because James Cameron is the best when it comes to film technology. I mean, he pushes the tech like no other person does, so let's at least be grateful for that. I imagine after Avatar 5 is released, that'll be it for James Cameron. He'll probably retire or something after all those films are out. I mean, the guy makes films every 10 years, so I doubt we're going to see much from him after this, but what a way to go out. He leaves his legacy behind. I am excited to see these Avatar films. Will I be fatigued by Avatar by the end of it? I mean, it's going to be six years of Avatar, but we do get a bit of a gap in between. Maybe. I just gotta wait and see how good the films are, and whether Avatar 2 is worth the 11-year wait. We'll find out, but I'm excited. I want to see what happens. I want to see if it's worth going back into the Avatar world. But moving on to our next story, the other big Fox announcement, release date-wise, we finally have confirmation and release dates of 3 X-Men films coming in 2018. That's 3 X-Men films in 2018. First, we get New Mutants on April 13th, 2018, followed by Deadpool 2 on June 1st, 2018. And now ending that year, we finally have confirmation of X-Men Dark Phoenix being now released on November 2nd, 2018. Which had originally been rumored under the title X-Men Supernova. This is an exciting time if you're an X-Men fan. Good to finally hear what's actually happening with New Mutants, because it's been fairly quiet on that side. Haven't heard a whole lot recently, but now we've got actual confirmation that's actually happening, which is good. So I imagine that's going to be sort of a smaller, early summer release. So, I mean, I think that's around the time Fast and Furious 8 came out this year, so I guess Fox are kind of having it as something to the side that's kind of just away from, you know, the big June releases. And now they're pegging Deadpool 2 in the June spot, so it's going to be interesting having an R-rated comic book film being released on June 1st, so really kickstarting the summer movies season. So, obviously Fox have a lot of confidence in Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool did better than anyone really expected it to, and now they're just giving the keys to Ryan Reynolds and his team. You know, just do whatever you want with Deadpool. We're going to market it. It's going to be huge. Expect a lot of Deadpool next year. There's going to be a lot of marketing leading up to it. I'm sure there'll be a tie-in with Deadpool for New Mutants, and a lot of marketing leading up to Deadpool 2's release. I mean, now we've got Josh Brolin joining as Cable, so it's going to be a good time if you're a Deadpool fan. for sure. But the most interesting news is probably the reveal of X-Men Dark Phoenix coming in November, November is going to be kind of that early Thanksgiving Christmas spot, I think, where this year we're getting Thor Ragnarok and Justice League coming out in that time period. Fox are kind of anticipating X-Men Dark Phoenix as something on that level. I mean, X-Men Dark Phoenix is going to be a much bigger film. Am I worried about them retreading the Dark Phoenix story? Not really. I mean, we all kind of know how X-Men The Last Stand wound up. I mean, that was an adaptation of the Dark Phoenix storyline, but it's not the adaptation I don't think X-Men fans really wanted. If the rumors of Simon Kinberg directing this are true, I don't know, I'm still a bit iffy about, someone who hasn't directed anything before coming in to direct a big budget X-Men film for the first time, and it's going to be the Dark Phoenix saga. I don't know, I'm kind of a little bit worried about that, but again, he's been a producer with the X-Men franchise for years now. He's been with 20th Century Fox for a long time, and he's been a producer for Neil Blomkamp's films and Star Wars Rebels, so I mean, he's got a lot of experience in film, so hopefully everything he's learned over the years is going to be put to great use in X-Men Dark Phoenix. Although Bryan Singer didn't do the greatest job with X-Men Apocalypse, I would be kind of intrigued to see Bryan Singer do the Dark Phoenix film, because obviously he was meant to direct X-Men Last Stand before he went on to Superman Returns, so I would have been kind of interested to finally see his take on the Dark Phoenix saga, but we might not get that. We probably won't, which is a little bit disappointing, but again, I mean, there's only so much Bryan Singer can really do with the X-Men films. I mean, he's been with this franchise, since 2000. I mean, I think both Bryan Singer and the fans kind of want a bit of a break now from Bryan Singer. We've had enough, but still would have been intrigued to have seen what his Dark Phoenix film would have been. So I'm excited. I think Sophie Turner would do a good job in the Dark Phoenix storyline. I think she'd be fine. I'd be interested to see what she does with it. But anyway, this is exciting news. These X-Men announcements are pretty smart on the side of Fox, because Marvel Studios will be having Black Panther released in February of 2018. Avengers Infinity War is being released in early May, and then you only have Ant-Man and the Wasp being released in July, and then that's it for Marvel Studios films. So the Fox films are kind of clear of all of that. New Mutants will be kind of safe because they've got a whole month before Avengers Infinity War kind of comes out, so they'll have pretty well been done with their run. Had a good run by that point that Avengers Infinity War comes out. We'll have been ready to move on to Avengers Infinity War by then, so why not take these prime spots? And I mean, the only DC entry we're getting next year is Aquaman, and that's not until December of 2018, so these are prime spots, a lot of Marvel presence in 2018, which is exciting if you're a Marvel fan. I know a lot of Marvel fans still want the X-Men to be back with Marvel Studios, but again, my argument is always we would never ever would have gotten Deadpool or Logan had the X-Men have been with Marvel Studios. So if Fox are going to keep pushing comic book films by making films like Deadpool and Logan, then I'm all for them having the rights to the X-Men for now, because it gives us more diverse and interesting stories, and I'm kind of interested to see what they do with these as well. But that's all, guys. Let me know in the comments below which films out of these Fox announcements are you interested in. Are you excited for the Avatar sequels, or are you more interested in seeing what happens with these X-Men films? Would you like to see what happens with the New Mutants, or are you just waiting to see what happens with Deadpool 2, ready to return to the world of Deadpool? And are you a little concerned with X-Men Dark Phoenix, or are you excited to see what might come from the X-Men franchise? Do let me know. Throw a comment down below in the comments section. If you do like this video, do hit the thumbs up button. It helps out a lot. And while you're at it, why not hit the subscribe button? It helps me out a great deal in getting more content out to you guys at a faster rate. And don't forget, you can also follow The Mono Report on Facebook and Twitter at The Mono Report. Thanks, guys, and stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye.